Was the Doctor Who Christmas special Joy to the World good enough to save the franchise? Welcome to the Tachyon Pulse podcast, part of the Scitrek family.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
I did a video a couple of days ago and I was talking about how Doctor Who is seriously at risk of being cancelled. Why? Because Disney are not sure they want to renew their current deal for the international distribution rights, and without Disney's money, it's very unlikely the BBC would be able to fund the TV show moving forwards. Or at very least, it would be very different. Russell T Davies has even spoken about this, saying that Doctor Who would return to claustrophobic ghost stories if the Disney money was to go away. The BBC currently is in a bit of a transition period, and it doesn't have the money and the resources it used to. A TV show like Doctor Who is expensive to produce relatively for an organisation like the BBC, and it would have to be one of its biggest shows if it was going to give it the sort of funding that Doctor Who would need. So, did the Christmas special get that sort of viewing figures? No, it didn't. We're just going to have a quick look at the viewing figures for Christmas Day. This is the viewing figures that it got just for the day on Christmas. Doctor Who got 4.11 million views on the BBC. The Gavin and Stacey special got over 12 million views. Now, for you guys in America, Gavin and Stacey is a situation comedy kind of thing. It hasn't been on our screens for a while. It's had like a bit of a reunion episode. James Corden's in it. The King's Speech got 6.81 million views, and Doctor Who came relatively low down in its top 10. Compared to previous Christmas specials, the highest rated Christmas special so far for Doctor Who was David Tennant's back in 2007, Voyage of the Damned, with 13.31 million views. That had a special guest star of Kylie Minogue in it. Matt Smith's best outing was 2010's Christmas Carol with 12.11 million views. And even Peter Capaldi in 2014's Last Christmas with Nick Frost guest starring as Santa Claus got 8.28 million views. So, it didn't do great for the BBC on the day of release. Now, yes, it will get more views through iPlayer and it will get more views, obviously, on Disney+. But if you use this as a gauge, how well it does in the BBC on the day it's released, on Christmas Day, it's not doing great. It's only doing about a third as well as it used to. Even under Peter Capaldi, it's only doing half as well. So, it does seem that people are turning off to Doctor Who. So before I tell you what a very good source that's close to the BBC and Bad Wolf has told me about how well this was received and what these viewing figures mean for the Disney deal and what the BBC will then do, I just want to tell you what I actually thought of the episode myself. Now, I was telling you guys a couple of months ago over on our sister channel Scitrek that actually Disney were pushing for Russell T Davies to be removed from the series. Why? Because when the specials came out with David Tennant and then the first season, it was received very badly in the United States in particular. It got called woke an awful lot. And to be honest, even though I hate that term, I can understand why people shouted it a lot at these episodes, because it was heavily politicized and there was an agenda about gay equality, gay rights, trans equality, transgender rights. All things that are great, and very important. But maybe Russell T Davies went a little bit too far. And that's even me. Some people got very angry about it. I think he went a little bit too far. And I always say to you guys, there's fine having an agenda. There's fine having a writer that wants to say something. In sci-fi in particular, that's kind of what it's for. You do that through metaphor, though. You talk about politics and things through the metaphor of science fiction. I felt Russell T Davies went too far, particularly with the David Tennant specials, and it ruined the story for me. So that's one of the big problems Disney has had. On the positive side, it's a relatively cheap deal for them, and the international rights don't just include the new Doctor Who stuff, it includes the old Doctor Who stuff, the Matt Smith and the David Tennant Doctor Who. So it is a good deal for them if they do decide to push forwards. I'm hearing it's very 50-50 at the moment. This episode, I still hate the sonic screwdriver. I still hate it. It looks stupid. I want it to be a screwdriver. I don't know why they've designed it like that. It's stupid. I did like a couple of the scenes. I thought it was quite funny. I thought the comedy in there was, there was a couple of good moments that actually made me genuinely laugh out loud. So that's really good. The particular bit where Doctor Who is telling himself off, I thought was very clever and very well done, even though it was followed by a 20 minutes of the Doctor in a basically hotel room waiting for the door to reopen, which was just a bit boring and I didn't really understand the point of it. The T-Rex was good. I like that. Two things I really disliked. There's one bit where the Doctor says, oh, this solves the biggest mystery in all of the universe, why there are locked hotel room doors. There's a door in like every hotel room and it's always locked. It's an adjoining door, dumbass. It's a door from one hotel room to another so that if you've got a family, you can basically make one room into two. It's an adjoining door. That's why they're there. And you don't really see them in hotel rooms anymore. Modern hotels just don't have them. So that was stupid. The thing that really annoyed me, though, was that he says at one point, your house is not a reflection of you because you can camouflage it with like pictures and flowers. It's a mask. But the hotel room you choose, that's really you. That's you without makeup, which sounds so wise. Except it's stupid. For one, have you ever picked your hotel room? Ever? And if you were to pick your hotel room, wouldn't you pick the one that's either closest to the lift if you're lazy? That would be me. Or furthest away from the hotel room and from the lift. Or furthest away from the lift because you don't want people walking past your door constantly. Which is also me. I maybe do the second one. So you don't, that's not a reflection of you, other than maybe how grumpy you are and how antisocial you are, or how lazy you are. It's just stupid. And I think we see that a lot in Doctor Who, that he's trying to sound a bit clever, and it just isn't. It's just stupid. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. But what I will say is that this episode did feel more like Doctor Who. It was better than the specials. It was better than the first season. I still don't think it's good enough. I still don't think it's anything like as good as Matt Smith and David Tennant Doctor Who. Doctor Who basically at its best. But it was better. It was a step in the right direction. Now, I am being told that that was very much on purpose. And Disney were basically putting a bit of weight over at Bad Wolf and BBC from before the first season aired, because obviously they'd seen it before it aired, sort of saying, you need to get this isn't right. You need to sort of go back to more timey-wimey adventures rather than this politics stuff. And I think that is the first evidence of this. I think we're going to see it more as well in the second season, because the second season, though, even though it was written and basically was back-to-back filmed, even there was a slight gap between season 1 and 2, but not much. Obviously, Disney were putting pressure on it while they were still filming the first season because they were seeing what was being done, and had some metadata from like private screenings and things. So I think we'll see more of the influence into the second season. I think, though, that the numbers we're seeing for the viewing figures are a problem. I do think this just adds more ammunition to Disney's argument that maybe Russell T Davies isn't the man to run the show at the moment, and that maybe they do need to bring in somebody else. I think his job is very much sort of like 50-50, as much as whether Disney will even go ahead with renewing it and then green-lighting the third season. I think that's 50-50 as well. The only thing that I think it's got going in its favour is, as I say, Disney doesn't just pay for the new Doctor Who, it's also paying for the international rights for the older stuff as well, which it does like and does still get views for. So it's a relatively cheap deal for Disney to continue that arrangement. If Disney don't go ahead, I'm hearing that the chances are the BBC will not renew the third season, that it will go on a break, and they will then start again, probably with a new Doctor. I think that is the most likely scenario if Disney pull out. So where we're at right now is it was already 50-50 on whether Disney would continue the agreement with Bad Wolf and the BBC. The Christmas special is a mixed bag for whether that helps or doesn't, because even though it's more what Disney want, and the BBC, to be fair as well, I'm hearing they're the same, that they want from Bad Wolf in regards to Doctor Who, but the viewing figures aren't great. I'm hoping word of mouth and stuff maybe, and we'll see some better 7-day figures, but as it stands right now, it's not helping. So as we stand right now, we're very much 50-50, and the Christmas special has not helped. So let's see what does happen. But I want you guys to get to the comments and answer a simple question for me. If this episode had been written and produced the way it was, but Matt Smith had starred as the Doctor rather than Ncuti Gatwa, do you think that would have been better? Because I'm not sure Ncuti Gatwa is particularly charismatic. I don't think he's a particularly good Doctor. I think that's not necessarily a bad episode, but I do think the guy they've picked to do the Doctor for the third time in a row isn't the right person. And it's just not a particularly charismatic actor. And when you've got something like Doctor Who, where the main actor is so vital, you've got to cast it right. I don't think they have. But you guys get into the comments, tell me what you think. Would it have been better with Matt Smith or David Tennant? If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, because we're a brand new channel and it really helps us out. Also, you can go to patreon.com/scitrek, where most of our new episodes do appear first, and the episodes from the Sci-Trek family as a whole. So please go check that out. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.